season may be turning around for the Atlanta Falcons. Their young draft picks are paying dividends on defense and on offense too. Rookie James Primus fills out a backfield with all-pro Gerald Riggs that leads the NFL in rushing. And with quarterback Chris Miller leading a team effort last week, the Falcons shocked the 49ers in San Francisco. The Dallas Cowboy defense has opened eyes this season, and so is the ability and spirit of their top draft pick, Michael Irvin. As expected, Herschel Walker has carried the load on offense, but quarterback Steve PELLUER has thrown away 2 games already with interceptions in the final moments. And with experience waiting in the wings, Dallas coaches may have to make a tough decision soon. For 2 years in a row now, the Falcons have come to Dallas and danced all over the Cowboys. Don't be too surprised if it happens again today. Live from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, it's the Atlanta Falcons against the Dallas Cowboys. On a beautiful day in late September this afternoon, we have sunny and clear skies and temperatures in the low 70s. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the home of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Greg Gumbel. Both these teams come in here this afternoon with records of 1 win and 2 losses so far. And if it's true that every team in the National Football League has an Achilles heel, then for the Dallas Cowboys, it could very well be the Atlanta Falcons, who came in here last year and defeated the Cowboys despite posting the worst record in the league, and also won here in Dallas 2 seasons ago. I'm joined, as usual, by the Snake, Ken Stabler, and with those 2 consecutive victories here in Dallas, Kenny, and a big win at San Francisco last week, the Atlanta Falcons are brimming with confidence.
Well, they're a team, Greg, that's trying to turn the corner to respectability, and the one way to do this is they need to string some victories together. They're playing extremely well on defense with their young linebackers. They need to continue the strong running game they have so that their young quarterback, Chris Miller, can throw the ball when he wants to as opposed to when he has to.
And he throws it well, as you will see. On the other side of the field, Tom Landry, of course, in his 29th year as head coach of these Dallas Cowboys, has a very young team out on the field this year, one that he likes very much.
Very much so. Their problems have come offensively. They've turned the ball over by Steve PELLUER inside the 20-yard line. They've had broken assignments. On defense, they've played well enough to be 3-0. They need to diversify their offensive attack to take some of the pressure off of Herschel Walker.
The Atlanta Falcons have won the toss here this afternoon and have elected to receive. Roger Ruzek will do the kicking for the Cowboys. There's Roger. Number 29, Sylvester Stamps, is deep for the Atlanta Falcons, and we're underway at Texas Stadium. Receiving this one at the goal line and dropping it in the end zone is James Primus, and he will cover it, and shades of what happened on the opening kickoff here 1 week ago. Last week it was a similar muff when the Giants kicked off to the Dallas Cowboys, and it was ruled a safety. No such thing this afternoon. There's the young quarterback, Chris Miller. 12 of 24, 175 yards in the win over the 49ers last week, and the defense he will face looks like this for the Dallas Cowboys. Ed Too Tall Jones and Jim Jeffcoat, the ends. Kevin Brooks and Danny Noonan are at the defensive tackles. Linebackers Ron Burton, Eugene Lockhart, and Gary Cobb. And in the secondary, a good one, Everson Walls, Robert Williams, Michael Downs, and Bill Bates. First down at the 20. And the handoff straight ahead is the rookie James Primus for a gain of 3. Here's a look at the Atlanta offense for you. Chris Miller calling the numbers at quarterback. Gerald Riggs and James Primus comprising the best rushing attack in the National Football League. Stacey Bailey and Floyd Dixon at wide receiver. Ken Wisenhunt, the tight end. And up front for Atlanta, Mike Ken, Jamie Dukes in for the injured John Scully, Wayne Radloff at center, Bill Fraley, all-pro at guard, and Brett Miller at tackle. Bailey and Dixon flank to the near side, and the 2 setbacks behind Miller on 2nd and 7. And Miller looks to throw and goes deep, has a man wide open, and just overthrowing 86 Floyd Dixon.
Well, they got what they wanted. They came with a little play fake in the backfield, Greg, to try to get the safeties, Downs and Bill Bates, to stick their nose up there, and then try to get a guy like Stacey Bailey in behind everything, or Floyd Dixon, I'm sorry. And they got exactly what they wanted, just a little overthrown.
Robert Williams, 23, covering for Dallas. And the incompletion will make it 3rd and 8. we said, the Falcons coming in here with the best rushing attack in the NFL. 4 wide receivers into the game now for Atlanta on 3rd down. Miller's pass batted in the air and picked off. That is Danny Noonan, and Noonan in for the touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Ed Too Tall Jones makes a habit of deflecting forward passes.
Did the same thing against the Giants. He gets those big hands up, and what enables him to do this is he gets penetration against the tackle. Gets penetration, gets those big hands up, gets his tip, then it's anybody's ball. Danny Noonan comes up with it. Cowboys are off to a fast start.
17-yard return for the touchdown, and the Cowboys are on the board. Ruzek to try the point after. Steve PELLUER, the quarterback, will hold. And with 13:58 still to play here in the first quarter, the Cowboys lead it early, 7-0.
Are we going to see that again? Whose bat? Well, Too Tall batted it. Is that this year?
No. He's batted it twice, and Jeff Code has returned it twice against the Giants.
Cowboys extend a special welcome today to the Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers. You will see the Oilers take on Pittsburgh Penguins with NHL MVP Mario Lemieux on Tuesday night, 7:30 at the Union Arena. And tickets are
We can do this first.
Rainbow Ticketmaster outlets.
Chris Miller with Ed Too Tall Jones in his face, and that's a familiar opponent to quarterbacks coming in here.
Well, that's why it happens, is because he gets so much penetration against Brett Miller, number 62, their right offensive tackle. And when you get that kind of penetration, get in the quarterback's face, it blocks all vision. Then you get those big hands up. I've been a victim of this very same thing against this very same player. He's done it an awful lot against a lot of different quarterbacks and a lot of different teams. He causes a lot of problems when you let him get that kind of penetration.
Never missed a game in his career. Ed Too Tall Jones, and twice in the last 3 years, he's batted Phil Simms passes in the air, which Jim Jeffcoat has returned for touchdowns. And the Cowboys are taking advantage now, and something that Tom Landry will be happy to see.
Well, that's what they have to do. Their offense has struggled inside the 20-yard line, and their defense really has played well enough to beat 3-0. Their offense needs to take up the slack.
This is Sylvester Stamps at the 8. A hole at the 20, out across the 25 to about the 28 or 29-yard line, where number 40, Bill Bates, and this is not unusual at all, Mr. Bates in on the tackle. 17-yard return of an interception by Danny Noonan for the touchdown, the second-year man out of Nebraska and the Cowboys' #1 draft pick in 1987, and we have an injured player down on the field for Atlanta. 94 is Charles Martin, the reserve nose tackle. Getting back to Danny Noonan, that's his first ever interception and first ever touchdown in the pro ranks. But as you said, Kenny, Too Tall has batted a number of passes around in his career. That's 72 in his 9 years, and his 4th already this year.
Uses that great height again and the penetration to get in there and do that sort of thing. But like you said, as long as they convert those into touchdowns, the defense is doing their job. The offense is where they need to get things going. Now, young Chris Miller can't let that sort of thing bother him right now. What he has to do is just stay with the game plan, get the ball out where he can do some things with it.
Too Tall and company set to go back to work, and Miller goes back into the air. Too Tall gets another one.
Yeah, looks like a volleyball game.
we may see young Mr. Miller going the other way before too long.
Well, it's the same thing we saw on the first series of downs. He just gets up and gets those big hands up, and how do you control that sort of thing? The offensive tackle has to fire out. He has to fire out and get into Ed Jones and bring those hands down, especially when you're throwing a little quick pass, a little short out, as they were trying to throw there.
He's going up against a pretty good one, too, in number 62, Brett Miller, the right tackle. 2nd and 10 from the 29. Straight ahead running is Gerald Riggs.
Well, that's what they have to do, is just settle their team down, settle the offensive line down, settle young Chris Miller down, and the best way to do that is get Gerald Riggs, get James Primus involved in the running game. That's the strength of their offense so far. So let's get the ball up here, let's start running the ball and settle things down and get the crowd out of the game.
Marion Campbell concedes what everyone realizes, that the best running offense in the league should make things easier for Chris Miller. 2nd and 5. And 4 wide receivers into the game for Atlanta. Miller going deep, has a man open, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Aubrey Matthews. Aubrey Matthews had a step on his man and couldn't hold on.
Well, he got the coverage that he wanted. Here you see it from behind the quarterback, and it's a man-to-man coverage on their four wide receivers. Number 38, Ron Francis, who is injured with a shoulder and hasn't started, playing the ball very well, makes up the ground and gets in his face and obstructs the vision of Stacey Bailey.
Rick Donnelly into punt, has a low driving kick that bounces across the 30 and will be down at about the 30 or just inside. 12:45 to play, first quarter, on the strength of Danny Noonan's touchdown. It's Dallas 7, Atlanta nothing. Get its collective act together. 12:45 to play in the first. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler here at Texas Stadium, where you've had the pleasure of playing every once in a while.
Been in here several times, and not too many times was it an awful lot of fun. When I was playing this Dallas Cowboy team had a great team. Ed Jones was doing the same thing when I was playing as he's doing right now. Of course, Randy White is not on the field right now, but he's a standout player.
Number 16 is Steve PELLUER, fifth-year man out of Washington. And the Cowboys fifth-round draft pick back in '84. Herschel Walker, the deep man in the I formation. And Timmy Newsome heading to his left in the lead blocker. Walker, the NFC's leading rusher. And Mike Gann with the tackle. Here's the Atlanta defensive line. Gann, Tony Casillas, and Rick Bryant. In Marion Campbell's 3-4. Number 1 draft pick Andre Bruce, John Rady, Jesse Tuggle, and Joel Williams. Joel Williams moving to the outside, replacing the injured Marcus Cotton. Butler, Case, Clark, and Moore, the Atlanta secondary. On 2nd down. This will be Herschel again. First down yardage and out of bounds.
Well, nothing new from the Cowboys. He's going to carry the load, and whether it's receiving the ball or running with the ball, he's a huge percentage of their offense, an all-around player that does everything you can think of. He receives the ball, he's a good blocker, all-around athlete.
Offensively for the Cowboys, PELLUER, Walker, and Newsome behind him. 87, Ray Alexander, 88, Michael Irvin are the wideouts, and Doug Cosby is the tight end. Up front, Darrell Smith, Nate Newton, Tom Rafferty, Crawford Kerr, and Kevin Gogan. Darrell Smith in for the injured Mark Tuinei, who is out for 3 weeks with a sprained left knee. Straight ahead is Walker, and Walker is met head on. Gain of about a yard. I think official statistics have Herschel as carrying about 41% of the Dallas Cowboy offensive load so far.
And it's something that they're really not pleased with. Although he's a great player and he's done an awful lot for their offense and very successful runner and receiver, they would like to diversify their attack somewhat. Michael Irvin could do that with his emergence as a receiver. Their tight end needs to get a little bit more involved. Timmy Newsome as a receiver, a little bit more involved. Spread the ball around a little bit more.
Herschel spread as a wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. And over the middle, PELLUER finds his man, and that's Newsome out of the backfield. Up close to a first down. And John Rady in on the tackle.
Well, as long as you get this type of protection, you'll be able to stand back there and pick out that type of receiver. He gives the first look downfield. There's his safety valve, Timmy Newsome, number 30, right over the middle. Take that, get your first down, methodically move the ball down the field. Get everybody involved in the offense.
Chalk it up as a first down for the Cowboys. The ball now across midfield and at the Atlanta 48. Irvin and Ray Alexander split. In the I formation, the give up to the first back is Timmy Newsome. Newsome breaks back across the 45 to about the 44. Gain of about 5. Let's take time here to go to New York and an NFL Today report with Brent Musburger. Brent? Those Minnesota Vikings riding the high of the victory over the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field last week. Second down from the 43. PELLUER for Walker. Walker with a big hole on the right side across the 30 and down to about the 27-yard line. Bobby Butler coming up from the corner to make the stop. Herschel Walker didn't practice this week because of a strained left calf muscle suffered in the game against the Giants last week.
Well, you can't block it much better than this. There's Darrell Smith, number 75, the left tackle pulling up in the hole. Then once you get number 34 in the secondary, you got problems. Very powerful runner with tremendous speed, can do a lot of damage. Well, this particular situation right here, the defense of the Atlanta team needs to stop him right here.
Herschel already 4 carries for 30 yards this afternoon. Timmy Newsome out of the lineup, and Thornton Chandler comes in as a second tight end for the Cowboys. And out of that formation, PELLUER will throw, and he's got plenty of time. Now he's going to take off to the left, across the 25, and down to about the 23. Call it a gain of 5, and PELLUER comes in here as a pretty good rushing quarterback, second only to Randall Cunningham in running the football.
No doubt. They've given up only 2 sacks. They've given up only 2 sacks this year, and I think one of the reasons it's been only 2 sacks has been the fact that their offensive line is playing extremely well. The other reason is that this quarterback, Steve PELLUER, is such a tremendous athlete. You see it right here. He scrambles around and makes something out of nothing. You avoid the sack. You keep your good field position, protect your field goal range. That's one of the reasons they've only given up 2 sacks this year.
Linebacker John Rady just limped off the field. He's been replaced by 56 Joe Costello. 2nd and 5. Herschel Walker is met at the line and a gain of maybe about 1 or 2. Down inside the 20-yard line. Mike Gann with the tackle.
Talked to Tom Landry yesterday, and as we said, would like to get more variety into his attack, get more people involved. I asked him specifically if he liked the idea of Herschel Walker carrying as big a percentage of their offense as he's been doing, and he said absolutely not. Need to get more people involved, Michael Irvin especially.
Tom Landry trailing only George Halas and Don Shula in a number of wins in the NFL for head coaches. 3 wide receivers into the game now for the Cowboys on 3rd down and 3. Little pitch to Newsome. Newsome breaks inside. Looks like he has enough for the first down. Rick Bryan, number 77, in tackle for the Falcons.
Well, defensively here, Atlanta needs to stop them. You talk to the Atlanta players and you ask them why they played so well, why they won against San Francisco, and more than one of them said that because they were playing in front, not having to play from behind, not having to play catch-up football. And right now, it looks like that's exactly where they're putting themselves, in a situation where they have to play catch-up.
Pretty good drive for the Dallas Cowboys, much to Marion Campbell's dismay. First down now at the 16. Straight ahead is Newsome.
Well, this is the area on the field that the Cowboys have had their problems. Steve PELLUER has turned the ball over with interceptions down in here. Against the Giants, he had 1. Against Pittsburgh, he had 1. They had a busted assignment by some offensive linemen that has stopped them down here. We'll see how well they do down here.
Tom Landry readily admits also that down here in this territory, sometimes he has made some calls that haven't been favorable to Steve PELLUER.
That's exactly right. He said we haven't helped our young quarterback with some of the play selection.
2 interceptions out of those possessions inside the 20 so far this season. 2nd down, here's Walker. Walker straight ahead across the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. Brett Clark comes up from his safety position, number 28 for the tackle. Gain of 6.
Well, he has such great speed and the ability to change direction so quickly that he can string things out and cut behind whatever block that he needs to. Here's evidence of that right here. He gets in behind Nate Newton, 61, number 79, Darrell Smith, strings it out, cuts behind those blocks and makes a nice play out of it.
In the tight going down here now, the Cowboys have gone to 3 tight ends. Cosby, Thornton Chandler, 89, Steve Folsom, the 4th-year man out of Utah, number 85. And a whistle blows on the field, and it's too much for the Falcons to deal with. They want timeout.
Well, there you see their sideline. Evidently, what they will do defensively is they will look over to the Cowboys sidelines. They will see what personnel comes in, whether it's 3, 4 wide receivers or 2 or 3 tight ends, and base their defense on that situation type substitution. Evidently, they didn't have the personnel that they wanted.
We asked Tom Landry yesterday just what it is that's changed over all of his years so far in the National Football League. He readily admits the number of multiple defenses that you look at during the course of a game.
And his offensive philosophy is you have to be very multiple on offense to compensate for all the multiple type defenses that you're going to face. Give the defense a lot of different looks, a lot of different formation with different personnel to offset all the different defensive looks.
Of course, in the blue jacket standing alongside Tom Landry is Danny White, who has known a few games here in Texas Stadium.
Danny White's been a solid performer for this team for a long time. When you come in and you play behind the legend like Roger Staubach and you don't win division titles and you don't win world championships, you're always going to be second guessed and questioned.
Yet only 1,000 yards shy of Roger Staubach's team record passing.
And an extremely high winning percentage for a quarterback.
On 3rd down, here's Walker. Big hole up the middle. 1st down to the 5.
Again, that's his ability with that great speed. When he breaks outside, he makes linebackers, defensive linemen, he makes them rush to the sidelines to try to cut him off because he has that great speed. Here you see it right here. You see the offensive guard and offensive tackle pull. They string things out. He cuts behind the offensive guard, number 68, Crawford Kerr's block.
John Rady, who had limped off the field a few moments ago, is back on the field and made that tackle. It's 1st and goal for the Cowboys now at the Atlanta 5. Clock running less than 5.5 to play here in the 1st quarter. Dallas leading by 7 and looking for more. The pitch for Walker with blockers in front of him. And Walker gains 2 on the play. Reserve defensive back David Crudup, number 30, came up to make the stop.
There you see Danny White going through the motions, sending in the plays. The reason he wears the blue jacket is because when he puts his hand in front of that blue jacket, it shows up a lot better as opposed to in front of that white jersey when he flashes the signals into Steve PELLUER.
Marion Campbell in his 2nd tour of duty now with the Atlanta Falcons as their head coach. In his 2nd year on this go-around. Newsom and Walker on 2nd and goal from the 2 behind PELLUER. Here's Herschel. And Herschel slow getting going and didn't get much. In fact, he didn't get anything.
Well, nice job by the Atlanta Falcons defense. The middle of that defense, Tony Casillas, Jesse Tuggle, 58, John Rady, 59. They just plug everything up. If you're going to run the ball inside, the first thing you have to do is be able to handle the nose tackle and handle the inside linebackers, which they don't do.
One of the guys in on that charge is number 95, Michael Reed, the 2nd-year man out of Wisconsin. And Atlanta has not been the best at stopping teams inside the 20. PELLUER on the roll, looking in the end zone. Walker, touchdown. He is about as dangerous a receiver as he is a runner.
Well, it just puts so much pressure on the defense when your quarterback sprints out like this, and you have a player, a smart player like Herschel Walker, that see him sit right there, and look at him break right behind that defensive player right there, find that open spot. Very intelligent move by him, and when you let your quarterback stay out there that long, you're in trouble.
Pretty impressive drive by the Dallas Cowboys. Ruzek will now look to add the extra point with PELLUER holding. Fumbled the snap momentarily and got it down for Ruzek. 3 minutes, 58 seconds to play in the 1st quarter, and the Cowboys have jumped off to the lead. It's 14-0. We'll be back. Not tough to tell that you're in Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, and depending on your interpretation of a Cowboy, you could make your choice.
Well, all you see is blue and white stars and guys carrying pistols.
2-yard touchdown pass. Steve PELLUER to Herschel Walker, and Roger Ruzek will kick it away. For Dallas, they lead 14-0. Sylvester Stamps, 29 to the right of your screen. Gene Lang, 33, the former Denver Bronco, at the top. This one will be taken by Stamps at the 6. Breaks it across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. And Sylvester Stamps is used to doing that. He was the best in the National Football League in returning kickoffs last year, averaging 27.5 yards a carry. Told you that drive by the Dallas Cowboys ate up almost 9 minutes of first quarter time. 15 plays capped by the PELLUER to Walker TD pass.
Number 12, Chris Miller.
Gerald Riggs and James Primus now behind Chris Miller on first down at the 32. Miller with plenty of time, throws deep. Stacey Bailey is there, and Bailey will go.
Very nice throw. Very nice throw. Aired the ball out extremely well. They kept getting this in the first series of downs that they had the ball, the second series of downs that they had it, the third series they finally hit it. I don't see anything wrong with what they're trying to do. They're getting man-to-man coverage on their receivers, block everybody up, let my guy beat your guy and deliver the ball.
Defensive pass interference, number 23. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Referee Bob McElwee says the penalty marker was on Robert Williams of the Cowboys, and the play will stand.
Well, here it is right here. It's the play fake, and the reason they throw the play fake at him is to hold the safety so that that guy can get in behind him. This young man's got a strong arm. You see evidence of it right here. There it is right there, right on the money. When you get the man-to-man type coverage, that's what you have to do. When you play man-to-man type coverage, that's the risk you take.
68-yard touchdown pass for Chris Miller, his longest. And the point after by Greg Davis is good. So the Falcons do what they have to do. They come back in a hurry. 3:38 to play, first quarter, and the Falcons cut the Cowboy lead in half. Longest pass and longest TD pass. Sure. Nope. .338 to play, first quarter here at Texas Stadium in Irving. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler, and previous longest pass Chris Miller had thrown as a pro was against the Rams last year, 57 yards. He just went 68 yards to Stacey Bailey. Bailey's first touchdown reception of the year, and just like that, it's the Cowboys 14 and the Falcons 7. Greg Davis will kick it away for Atlanta. Darrell Clack and Kelvin Martin are deep for the Cowboys. Comes up short, about 13, and it's Martin. Martin breaks through across the 25 and across the 30.
Kelvin Martin returns to the 32-yard line.
And the young quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons, as you saw on the NFL today, opening eyes around the country.
Strong arm. Sometimes you may question playing a man-to-man type coverage with a 14-point lead. The Dallas Cowboys playing this young man, Chris Miller, in man-to-man type coverages. When you have an arm as strong as his, you have receivers like Stacey Bailey, Floyd Dixon with that kind of speed. You've got a 14-0 lead. Sometimes you may play a little zone, make a young team try to go the length of the field.
Scoring drive like that Atlanta offense will help keep the legs on the linemen, won't it?
Yeah.
First down from the 31. Timmy Newsom. Left side for a couple. Jesse Tuggle, 58, there to make the stop for the Falcons. Call it a gain of about 3. Jesse Tuggle, playing the inside linebacker position, usually held down by number 54. 54 is Joel Williams. Joel Williams replacing the rookie Marcus Cotton, who was lost for a couple of weeks with an injury. Cotton with a sprained ankle. 2nd and 7. Ray Alexander, Michael Irvin, the wide receiver. Play action, PELLUER will look to throw. Over the top, it is incomplete, and a penalty marker is down. Scott Case was on the play and is deemed guilty. Ray Alexander, intended receiver. And the call does go against Atlanta.
One of the ways that you'll use Herschel Walker as a decoy, the quarterback comes out, little play fake right there. There's the play fake to Herschel Walker.
Defense, first down.
And then try to get the ball outside to your wide receivers. Ball's thrown a little bit high, mistimed by the Scott Cates, the cornerback, and they get the penalty.
Pretty clear Scott Case hit his man before the ball got there. First down across midfield at about the 47.5-yard line. Walker. And Walker met it just about the line of scrimmage, might have gained one. Mike Gann, number 76, in on the tackle with Joel Williams.
76, Mike Gann. 75.
First quarter score, Green Bay with the early lead on the Bears. Cincinnati leading Cleveland, and Buffalo ahead of Pittsburgh. Houston 1 point over the Patriots, and the Jets leading Detroit. New Orleans over Tampa Bay. 2nd and 9. I formation, and now the back split. Walker and Newsom. PELLUER will throw out. Sideline pass for Newsom, and Newsom in and out of his hands. Timmy Newsom's been a pretty dependable and reliable receiver over the
Always
years.
been used as a receiver out of the backfield, as a good play, as a good receiver coming out of the backfield. Also a good blocker for Herschel Walker. Here you see it right here coming at you like you're playing linebacker. The ball is delivered on the outside. Ball should have been caught by Timmy Newsom. He usually makes this catch. What this does for the Atlanta defense now is it puts the Dallas offense in a situation where you think that they have to throw the ball, gives the defense a chance to rush their young linebackers such as Andre Bruce, and try to put some pressure on the quarterback.
To that end, 2 more defensive backs come into the lineup for Atlanta. David Crudup and Charles Dimry. And 2 more wide receivers are into the game for Atlanta. Out of the shotgun. Walker is out in the pattern. This one is over the middle and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, number 80, Everett Gay, the first-year man out of Texas. And the Cowboys will kick.
Well, he hit him in a bad spot. Hit him right between the 8 and the 0. He's got to come up with that one.
Mike Saxon, number 4, will do the kicking. And Lou Barnes will be back to receive, number 85 for Atlanta. Barnes at about his 10. Saxon, without much pressure, hits this one straight up and short, and a fair catch called for. Barnes pulls it in at the 18. 28-yard punt. Saxon will not be pleased with that one. And Atlanta will go back to work.
First down for the Falcons.
I like Chris Miller's comments in the NFL today, where the media guide says he's a 7 handicap golfer, but he says he's really a 3.
Yeah, a little sandbagging during these celebrity tournaments, I would think.
Sounds a lot like you.
My handicap is my swing.
First down, Atlanta at their own 19. Riggs and Primus are behind Miller, and Wisenhunt in motion. Here's Riggs. Riggs picks his way across the 20 to about the 22, a gain of 3 on the play.
42, Gerald Riggs.
Gerald Riggs with a dandy game in the upset of the 49ers last week. 179 total yards, 115 of them on the ground, and 64 through the air.
The way most defenses try to stop Gerald Riggs is to play gap-type defense. It gets everybody in a gap, plug up the gaps, and try to make him bounce outside. Make him bounce the ball outside and run into the strong safety or linebacker support.
Cowboys will go with 6 defensive backs now, and Riggs is the lone setback behind Miller. And the give is to Riggs on the draw, and that'll get nothing. 99, Kevin Brooks, one of the Dallas Cowboys, stacking that one up.
Well, here's what we talked about. Watch the defensive lineman. Watch the defensive lineman right in front of the offensive guards. They just stack things up right there in the middle. Take those gaps, try to plug it up. You do that, you stand your center up. He can't get off on the linebackers. There's no place to run.
Kevin Brooks in his 4th year out of Michigan, and the Cowboys' #1 pick in '85. 30 seconds remaining now here in the first quarter. And Miller repositioning Riggs behind it. 4 wide receivers in the game now for the Falcons, and Miller wants a timeout.
Well, what you have here is a situation on 3rd downs, even on the early downs. They're doing something called check with me. What check with me is the quarterback gets in the huddle, he says check with me. That's the only thing he says. When he comes up to the line of scrimmage, he takes a look at the defense based on what he sees, then he calls the play. Looks like then he was a little bit confused by the defense, didn't get to the play in time. He was running out of time on the 30-second clock.
For the terminology with that, Kenny, is that much different than an audible?
No, it's not any different at all. It's the same thing. All it is to get him out of the huddle as quickly as possible. To get him, that's why you only say check with me. It gets him to the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible, so he has a longer period of time to look at the defense.
Well, the Falcons have burned 2 of their timeouts already here in the first quarter. And Ernie Stautner is the man who seems to be confusing Chris Miller at the moment.
Stop the run by playing the gap-tight defenses, make Riggs bounce outside. The way they're playing the passing game, they're playing all man-to-man coverage. When you play man-to-man coverage, you've got to get some pressure by your defensive lineman.
3rd down play, 3 receivers to the near side, and a 4th to the top for Atlanta. Miller under pressure, swings away from it and throws out complete and close to 1st down yardage. It'll depend on where the ball is spotted. Jesse Hester, number 89, was the receiver.
Good athlete. When he can do that sort of thing, he brings another dimension to your offense. When he gets in trouble like that, the pass protection breaks down. When he has the ability, like a John Elway, to get outside, and he has that strong arm and good receivers, then he can do things as he did there.
Hester did get enough for the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 for Atlanta when we come back to Irving for 2nd quarter action right after this. Down here. Out of too tall when we can after a play or 2. Yeah.
Scar.
Back at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler ready for the start of the 2nd quarter. Not a bad first one. 14-7. Dallas in the lead. Ball at their own 29 for a touchdown. Give this to Sylvester Stamps, who decides to go the other way, and he's dragged down from behind. 99, Kevin Brooks with the tackle. A loss of 2 on the play.
Well, a mistake by the running back. Anytime you start out like that and you get everything going that way and you try to reverse field, more times out of not that you're going to get run down by the pursuit or caught by the backside pursuit. You see it right here. Too Tall Jones, number 72, forces him back the other way. There's Brooks and Jeffcoat to make the play.
See that what a lot of coaches talk about is containment. Too Tall did that very well.
You bet.
2nd and 12. Riggs and Primus, an I formation behind Miller. Miller, plenty of time to throw over the middle, has his man, and that's Primus out of the backfield. Ron Burton, the outside linebacker with the stop. Chris Miller eyeballs everything.
Talked to Chris Miller yesterday, and I asked him how he felt about the San Francisco game, beating a good team in their home stadium, and how that would go a long way to establish him as the leader and to be respected as the leader of this ball club, he had a real good answer. The answer was you have to do it every week in and week out. String some victories together.
You're not thinking much about the 49ers this afternoon. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 4 for Atlanta. And the give is to Riggs. Riggs with a first down and then some.
Offensively, that's what they have to do, is they have to create the short yardage situations, the 3rd and 4s, the 3rd and 3s, 2nd and 5s, where you can run the ball, play pass, and get Riggs involved. And that's what they have to do, is to put the Cowboys on defense. That's what they do right here. You see their offensive line, Wayne Radliff, Jamie Duke, 64, behind Mike Ken, number 78. And you get those short yardage situations, that's when you can do some stuff.
Gain of 8 on the play. First down for the Falcons now. And what a back Riggs has been over the years. That's Wisenhunt in motion. Here's Riggs again. Tries the left side for a couple.
The reason they will bring their tight end in motion like that is to change the support by the safeties. When the tight end comes in motion to one side, then the safeties will rotate. Watch the safeties. Watch Bill Bates. He's now playing free safety when he's a strong safety, and now they run away from him. He is not up on the line to support Bill Bates, being one of the better secondary tacklers. That's the idea, is to get him out of the game, because this man right here is a wild man on defense.
It's his fair share of tackles, doesn't he?
You bet. He says if you don't get him, they'll get you.
Sylvester Stamps out as a wide receiver. And Miller will play action and under the gun and pull down. 72, Ed Too Tall Jones.
Well, I don't know how many times we've seen this over the years. Number 72 working against number 62, Brett Miller. Gives him an outside rush. See, he throws that arm over the top, gets outside, makes the young quarterback step up in the pocket so he can get some help from his friends. But Ed says, I'll just do it myself.
Ed Too Tall Jones racking up another sack. That gives him 99 and a half for his career.
Yeah, I was on the bottom of several of those.
Atlanta, timeout on the field. There is an Atlanta player down, and it's Sylvester Stamps, who is just now getting to his feet. Sylvester, not the biggest guy on the field to begin with.
Versatile player that does a lot of things. Not a starting type player that plays over the long haul, but a player that comes in, catches the ball out of the backfield. They line him up outside and throw the ball to him. Does a lot of things for their offense.
Stamps, the 5th-year man out of Jackson State at 5'7", 171 pounds.
Just not big enough, strong enough to be durable enough to be your every down type player. He's a role player.
Meanwhile, the Falcons are faced with a 3rd and 14 situation.
A situation that you try to stay out of, especially with a young team, young quarterback. You create situations like this against Ed Jones, against Kevin Brooks, Danny Noonan, Jim Jeffcoat. You're asking for trouble.
54, Randy White is now into the ball game on the defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I saw him yesterday. Didn't hardly recognize him. Last time I saw him was 1984, but I was under him.
3rd and 14, 4 wide receivers for the Falcons. Too Tall Jones in again. Miller ditches him, throws, and almost intercepted. Beating the ground is 45, Manny Hendricks, who had a shot at picking it off.
Well, Miller was lucky to get rid of the ball. Lucky it wasn't intercepted. Ed Jones just giving Brett Miller just all he needs this afternoon. He's just applying all kind of pressure. End zone shot of it right here, and if you can see to your left, there's 62, Miller. See, Jones beats him with no problem, forces the young quarterback out of his pocket. Lucky he didn't get this one picked off.
Rick Donnelly, number 3, into punt, and 83, Kelvin Martin is back for Dallas. Martin at the 25. Spins away from one tackler and falls to the 29. 36-yard punt, 5-yard return. Gary Wilkins, number 80, down to make the tackle for the Falcons. And as Steve PELLUER comes back onto the field, we'll take a timeout. Cowboys lead at 14-7, 11 and a half to play in the second quarter.
The dynamic sound of the Dallas Cowboys band is now available for the first time ever on cassette tape. Cowboys band cassette is on sale at Texas Stadium souvenir stands.
Sylvester got his bell rung.
Electroflex Sound Warehouse store. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dallas Cowboys.
At least he's still on the bench.
Hey, Stephanie, or Peter, is that the offensive line coach for the Falcons down there talking to the offensive line, especially to Brett Miller, number 62, on the end of the Falcon bench? Yeah, it is. Is it Hannafin? He's talking to the offensive line. They're having a lot of problems. Yeah, there you go.
.34 to play here in the second quarter. Dallas leading Atlanta 14-7. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler. Hope you're enjoying what has been a pretty interesting football game so far. A couple of big plays. One by Too Tall Jones, batting a pass that was returned by Danny Noonan. And a 68-yarder, Chris Miller to Stacey Bailey. Sandwiched in between there, a 2-yard toss from PELLUER to Herschel Walker. And that's how we've had our scores this afternoon. Speaking of Herschel, straight ahead for a gain of about 3.
33-yard line.
Sylvester Stamp still trying to shake the cobwebs out of a pretty good lick he took.
Well, their offensive line is having some problems protecting Miller, and you see Jim Hannafin, their coach there. There's Freilich and Radloff, Oswalt, number 62, Brett Miller's in there somewhere. Having a lot of problems with Ed Jones in this particular situation. Sometimes you will do something to help your offensive lineman. Keep a back in on his side to give him some help with Jones.
2nd and 7. Tight end Doug Cosby in motion, and he will lead Herschel Walker around the right side. And Walker doesn't find too much running room. Over the 35 to about the 37 or 38. Rick Bryan in on yet another tackle after a gain of 5.
Well, Rick Bryan, yeah, coming from the backside. Mike Gann, number 76, strings the play out real well and gives an opportunity for Rick Bryan, 77, the linebackers, to flow and make the play.
Word we get from the sideline is that Sylvester Stamps has pulled a hamstring and he will not be back this afternoon.
Occupational hazard when you run fast.
4 wide receivers in for Dallas on 3rd and a couple. Out of the shotgun, here's Walker, and Walker will not get to the first down marker. Picked up about 1, still leaves him 1 shy. The rookie Andre Bruce in with Mike Gann on the tackle, and the Dallas Cowboys will kick it away.
Well, that's what the defense has to do. They've got to stop them in those situations so they're not on the field so long. Dallas had an awfully long drive, an 8-minute drive early in the quarter, and that takes a lot out of your defense. Get in there, stop them, get off, let your offense get out there and go to work. Now the offense has to maintain control a little bit longer to give your defense time to rest.
85 is Lou Barnes back deep for the Falcons, and Mike Saxon will kick it away. Lou Barnes, one of Chris Miller's receivers at the University of Oregon.
Are they coming after him? Nope.
Saxon has lots of time to kick it away, and he has a good one. At 14 is Barnes. And very little room to maneuver.
Good coverage.
Billy Owen, 31. One of the first tacklers down. 47-yard kick, a 5-yard return. Falcons back on offense, and we come back to Texas Stadium right after this.
And we have an official timeout on the field.
14-7 with just over 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Remind you that this is a doubleheader Sunday here on CBS. Following this game, you will see the Rams against the New York Giants or the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Chris Miller back to work again at his own 19-yard line. Riggs and Primus in the backfield and Wisenhunt in motion. Riggs, big hole. Riggs breaking tackles and carrying a couple with him out to about the 30-yard line. A gain of 11, and most of that Gerald got by himself.
On his own. Just an off-tackle play behind their offensive right guard, right tackle. He cuts it back and runs right through the arm tackle of linebacker number 57, Ron Burton, right there. Runs right through that tackle and then carries a couple of guys. And this is what their young quarterback needs, is some players to help him out, to get some short yardage situations, create some first downs where he can do some things.
Pro Bowler the last 3 seasons, and he comes as no surprise to opposing coaches or to Atlanta fans. He's a good one. Wisenhunt again in motion, and again the give to Riggs. This time no hold. Give him about 2 on the play before the Dallas defense closed on him.
Well, the way they try to stop him, as we said at the top, is a gap defense. So you see Ed Jones take the gap, 99 Brooks takes the gap, make him do exactly what he does here, make him bounce it outside. No place to go, no place to bounce it. That's the way you have to stop Gerald Riggs. There's the guy that's the program that they're using, Ernie Stautner, their defensive coordinator.
Decent player in his day, wasn't he?
I'll say.
From the 32. Miller will go up top. And he's looking for Stacey Bailey, and he's got him. Robert Williams, again, the Cowboy defender beaten on the play.
Just a real nice throw with a lot of touch for a ball that's thrown that far, right over the top of the defender. It's the same thing that they've been doing. You get your running game going, and they play fake. They play fakes to Riggs, the fullback. And watch the touch on this ball for a ball that's thrown 40 yards or so, right over the defender. Nicely thrown to Stacey Bailey.
They've been picking on Robert Williams more than just a couple of times so far this afternoon, and Stacey Bailey already up to 100 yards receiving today. 32 yards on that one.
Robert Williams in to replace Ron Francis, who was separated shoulder or dislocated shoulder a few weeks ago. Pick on the young guys, the new guys.
First down at the 36. Here comes Riggs around the right side. Gain of 5 on the play. Riggs came into this game needing 181 yards rushing to break into the top 20 all-time rushers in the National Football League. He would surpass Lawrence McCutcheon.
Good first down play, 5 or 6 yards. Now you can play pass, you can throw the ball, run inside, run outside. That's what they have to have the good first down plays.
And Kevin Brooks is helped to the sideline. 95 Mark Whalen, second-year man out of UCLA, is now replacing Kevin Brooks. On 2nd and 4, John Settle into the backfield now, replacing Riggs. Miller to the outside, has Settle out of the backfield, and a first down. Michael Downs, number 26, ran him out.
Well, as we said, when you get a good first down play to create the second down and short yardage plays, then you can do anything you want. And this is one of the things you can do. See, they get their running game going. Now they can play pass, fake the run, get outside behind his offensive lineman, get that back that he faked to. John Settle, number 44, good pass receiver in the secondary. When you create short yardage situations on the early downs, then you can do a lot of different things.
Settle, the second-year man out of Appalachian State, signed as a free agent last year. First down now at the 23. This is Settle. And those are the Cowboy defenders. Gain of 1. Gary Cobb and Bill Bates leading the charge, and Settle will come out, and here comes Gerald Riggs back into the lineup, along with 86 Floyd Dixon. This Falcon offense really took a blow last week, Kenny, losing fine rookie tight end Alex Higbee.
Yeah, no doubt, a good player that's going to be one of the standouts for a while to help out the tight end duties with Ken Wisenhunt. Tore his knee up last week after making a nice catch.
Here's Riggs. Riggs across the 20 to about the 18. Gain of 5 on the play, and he'll bring up one of those situations that Miller can do a lot with now as the clock continues to run. 5:45 to play in the first half. A couple of wide receivers check into the lineup.
Well, you a couple of schools of thought here. You've got 3 or 4 yards to go for the first down. You can try to get it all by throwing the ball, or you can even think in terms of a 2-down situation of getting this 3 or 4 yards on 2 running plays. Looks like they're going to throw the ball with all the receivers in.
2 extra defensive backs in for the Cowboys, Manny Hendricks and Ron Francis.
There's the check with me situation with him trying to get an audible, which he does to an option.
Riggs hurdles a tackler, and he's got a first down.
Well, we saw young Chris Miller walk up to the line. It looked like he would look to both sides, look to his left. He sees which way that the defensive line will be shifted. In this particular situation, they see the shift. He goes down the line with an option to the side of the field where there are less players. It's that check with me situation that he calls the play at the line of scrimmage.
And Bill Bates was the tackler that Riggs hurdled for the first down. 48 yards on the day for Riggs so far, and another Atlanta first down, this one at the Cowboy 12.
Last short yardage situation, he play pass 2 times ago. This pass time an option, create the short yardage.
Here's Riggs again. And Riggs pulls his way to the 8. A gain of 4. 95, Mark Whalen again in on the tackle. And Gerald Riggs is still on the ground.
Just taking a little breather. He'll pop up. Well, maybe we can see what happened right here. It's a low-angle replay of it, and here it's just a handoff up the middle behind Jamie Dukes, Radloff, and Bill Freilich, the center of the offensive line, and maybe it's really hard to tell what happens here. Gets caught in a pile of people. There's Bill Bates. There's Whalen. There's Lockhart. Hard to tell what happened to him from that angle.
Looked to be a little bit stumbled before he hit the line.
They're looking at his left knee. Better angle of it right here. There's Bill Bates come flying in there, the wild man in the secondary. Hits him head on, sends Bates the other way.
I think Bill may have some recollection of that play at the game's end. But it is Gerald Riggs who was still on the ground. Gerald has come in here and had some good days the last 2 years against the Cowboys. Last year, in the 21-10 win for the Falcons, he had 119 yards rushing. The year before, in a 37-35 victory over Dallas, Gerald had 109 yards rushing, and he scored a touchdown.
Well, anytime the Falcons win, you can just about bet that Gerald Riggs had a big part of it.
Clock is stopped with 4:20 to play in the second quarter as they continue to look at Riggs, who is now off the turf.
He'll be back shortly.
Meanwhile, a couple of minutes ago, you saw defensive tackle Kevin Brooks, number 99, hobble off the field for Dallas. He has a twisted right knee. He'll be looked at halftime, and he may or may not be back in the second half. We don't know. Meanwhile, the Cowboys look to continue a drive that began at their own 19-yard line. They've had the ball for close to 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Settle replaces Riggs in the backfield. And Miller will roll to the near side with Jeffcoat in pursuit and throws it away.
Well, the smart thing to do, protect the ball down there, protect the field goal range. You're in there to score. You always have to keep that in your mind. You don't want to force things. Steve PELLUER could probably learn a little something from that.
So on third down now, 4 wide receivers into the game for the Falcons. Miller will have Bailey, Matthews, Dixon, and Hester as his wideouts. And Manny Hendricks and Ron Francis come in to make it 6 defensive backs for Dallas. Man coverage this tight, Kenny?
I would think so. Down this part of the field, you just about always anticipate a man-to-man type coverage.
Big play for the Falcons here. 3rd and 5. John Settle.
Also anticipate a blitz.
The lone back is John Settle. It is Settle. Straight up the middle. Penalty markers fly. As Settle reaches the 5, he's still about 3 yards shy of first down.
Well, they got that blitz we talked about.
And Miller just didn't get the play off in time.
Well, you see him there talking to his sidelines over to the Atlanta Falcon coaches, and he gives them a little spin of the finger. Get the play in sooner. Give me more time to get up there, get the play called, and get to the line of scrimmage and take a look in case I have to audible. Give me the people, the personnel, get it in sooner.
Now, Dallas has chosen to move them back. Would you give them the field goal there? Or would you move them back and give them another chance at a first down or a field goal or touchdown here?
Well, I think I would move them back.
Well, that's what Tom Landry has done. 3rd down. Settle again, the lone back behind Miller. And Miller over the middle, touchdown!
Maybe I wouldn't move him back.
Floyd Dixon, number 86.
Well, on that particular part of the field, whether you move them back or not, I'm not so sure it's any big deal because you don't really have an awful lot of room to work with anyway.
Floyd Dixon on the receiving end of his first touchdown of the year.
And what makes it happen is you see Freilich, number 79, give him the time to work right there. When you give him time to stand back there and you give Dixon time, what he does, he gets Michael Downs, number 26, the safety, gets his back turned. Get his back turned, he doesn't know where the receiver is, he loses sight of the ball, then he's in trouble.
Michael Downs never turned around to look at the football.
As a receiver, that's what you try to do, though. You try to get the defensive back turned where he can't see the ball, then position your body between him and the ball.
Steve Dills holds for Greg Davis. And a good job of pulling a high snap down. 3:46 to play, second quarter. We're all tied at 14 all at Texas Stadium. But there are some Atlanta fans here, and they made themselves known when Floyd Dixon caught the touchdown pass.
Well, he may need a raise. I think we talked to their public relations people, and Floyd Dixon, you see there, number 86, asked for 58 tickets this week.
How many did you ask for?
I was just lucky to get a uniform.
Greg Davis kicks it away. In the end zone is Darrell Flack, and he won't run it out. So after an initial shocker, Too Tall Jones batting a Chris Miller pass in the air and Danny Noonan returning at 17 yards for the touchdown, the Falcons have recovered quite nicely. And Miller took them 12 plays, 81 yards.
Well, they get an easy one. The long one by Chris Miller is an easy one. The Cowboys get an easy one with the tip pass, and then both offensive earned touchdowns. They drove the length of the field to earn touchdowns. So the games kind of mirror each other on offense.
See, Chris Miller is doing pretty well after having missed his first 4 passes. He's now completed 6 of his last 7, 132 yards and a pair of touchdowns. First and 10 for the Cowboys from the 20. PELLUER with the pitch to Herschel Walker. And Walker out to about the 25, maybe the 26. Gain of 6 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 4. And Rick Bryan again in on the tackle.
Nate Newton, number 61. Gosh, he'd rather make his car payment than feed him.
He is a big guy. He usually comes to camp around 350 or so, and they drop about 40 pounds off of him, and they say that they're pleased with him. Second and 4. And PELLUER to throw. Out in the flat, Walker with the reception and hit immediately by Joel Williams.
Try to get the ball in Herschel Walker's hands any way you can. Also, Gerald Riggs, any way you can. Throw the balls to him. He's basically known as a runner, but has caught an awful lot of passes, too.
Riggs sitting on the sideline with a sprained knee, and it's yet to be determined whether or not he'll be back in the second half or not. That'd be a big loss to the Falcon offense.
You bet. Chris Miller is the type of quarterback that could probably carry a team with his arms, but you really wouldn't want to have to do that. You have to have that balanced attack. Loss of Riggs would hurt awfully a lot.
2:15 to play here in the first half. And out of the shotgun, PELLUER fires one to the near side. Alexander with the catch. And first down yardage at about the 32-yard line. And that'll be the last play before the 2-minute warning. That's what we've got. 2 minutes to play. First half. Cowboys and Falcons in a 14-14 tie in Irving, Texas. Steph, not while I'm talking.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, you were okay. But I mean, you could, whichever one of us isn't. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I'm just thinking out loud. Cowboys have all their timeouts remaining, right? Atlanta's got 1 left. Hey, Marnie, what's he eating? Sprained knee is what Tuane has out for 3 weeks.
That's right.
Here in Irving, Texas, on a day custom made for Ken Stabler. I'm Greg Gumbel.
Custom made?
14-14.
Well, the Falcons have taken the crowd out of it for that long drive and tie the game up 14-14 and got the crowd out of it. Now they just need to play consistent ball and don't turn the ball over.
Plays like that long touchdown pass to Stacey Bailey and like Robert Moore's interception return against 49ers last week, they could become known as a big play team.
You bet.
Here's Timmy Newsome, and Newsome hit hard, and leading the charge again is Rick Bryan, who is having a terrific first half. Rick Bryan, number 77, in his 5th year out of Oklahoma. In fact, he plays alongside Tony Casillas, who is in his 3rd year out of Oklahoma. And the other defensive end, Mike Gann, is a Notre Damer, but he was born in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and almost went to become one of the Sooners.
Young defensive group. Jesse Tuckle, young linebacker. They got Rady, young linebacker. Rookie Andre Bruce. Good young defensive team.
PELLUER up top is picked off. Scott Case with the ball and brought down at about the 47-yard line, and that gives the Falcons another shot at it with 1:19 to play in the first half.
Well, with inside of 2 minutes to go, the thing that you don't want to do, of course, is to turn the ball over down here. What you would like to do, if you can get the ball out to midfield or inside or on the other side of the 50 where you may have a shot at a field goal, but just run the clock out. If you can't, don't force anything. This ball is just forced. Look at the red jerseys. There's 3 jerseys all around the receiver. You just can't force that. That's the problems that PELLUER's been having, is forcing the ball.
Michael Irvin, the intended receiver. That is 6 interceptions thrown this year by Steve PELLUER.
We talked to Robert Moore yesterday, the strong safety for the Falcons, and he said that's one thing that PELLUER will do. If you pressure him, he'll force the ball.
And 4 wide receivers on the field for the Falcons, and the Cowboys use one of their 3 timeouts remaining. And while we wait for the teams to regroup, we'll tell you about next Saturday afternoon college football action here on CBS. The LSU Tigers and the Florida Gators, a matchup of a couple of SEC teams. You may know something about that.
Yeah, get to take a look at Emmitt Smith, who I think had a pretty good day yesterday for Florida, and of course LSU. Ohio State kind of slipped up on them yesterday, but they've got a good young quarterback. Tommy Hudson's great prospect.
LSU in Florida, that's coming up live 2:30 Eastern time next Saturday afternoon here on CBS. We talked about defensive coordinator, but he's got a but we were talking with him yesterday, Kenny, and you just kept raving about him as a player.
Oh, he was a great player. Great defensive lineman, has a great feel for defense. Uses his personnel extremely well. Does gamble on defense some with sending linebackers and safeties. Always has. There's always been a man-to-man type defensive coordinator.
Randy White on the front line for Dallas. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Falcons will throw, and Miller throws it away. He saw number 59, Gary Cobb, closing in on his intended receiver, John Settle.
Just as well. If he completes that, he gets somebody killed. So just throw the ball away and start over.
I know you mentioned Robert Moore a little earlier, and when we talked to him, he kind of walked in and took a look at you and said, "Snake, you're looking a little bit like Bob Barker."
Yeah, a young whippersnapper.
Oh, one thing Robert Moore did say that was pretty accurate. He said that if he's got to be doing a lot of tackling on Herschel Walker, you know they're in trouble.
You bet. When he gets in the secondary, you're in trouble.
2nd and 10. And on the draw, it's Settle. Settle pulled down by Too Tall Jones.
Well, they've got to get up. They've only got 1 timeout left, and what young Chris Miller has to do now is get him up to the line of scrimmage and get something called that will complete the ball and get down in the field goal position, or either throw on 3rd down. He needs to get his 1st down.
Less than a minute
and the
remaining.
clock stops.
Miller with time. Throws it to the near side, complete and out of bounds is number 81, Michael Haynes.
Well, that's the idea right there. You try to take something that will enable your player to get out of bounds, to conserve your time. You have to save that one time out for the field goal, and that's exactly what he does here. He gets good pass protection from Radloff, the center, throws the ball. The ball is tipped by number 45, and a nice adjustment by number 81, Michael Haynes.
Haynes on the reception, and now 83, Aubrey Matthews comes up hobbling near midfield for the Falcons. And the third and final timeout of the first half is charged to Atlanta. Aubrey Matthews, pretty important cog when Marion Campbell goes to his multiple set offense.
Steve Deals, backup quarterback.
He's one of the guys the Atlanta Falcons have wanted. Want some experience to back up Chris Miller, somebody that Chris can lean on.
Sure, seems to be a trend around the league when you have a young quarterback to have an experienced veteran behind him that can grasp the offense real well, that can lend support to a young player. And that's what Steve Deals does there. He's really involved with the team. Talked to Jeff Van Note, a longtime center for the Atlanta Falcons, and he said that Steve Deals, you see there, and Chris Miller took the offensive linemen out for dinner and for drinks all this week after the San Francisco win, and really bringing this team together.
First down, about the 29.5-yard line. And Atlanta really eating up now, the offense. 4 wide receivers for Miller, and Settle, the one back behind it.
Watch out.
Under a rush, and he throws it away, and it's incomplete. 40, Bill Bates. 26, Michael Downs, coming in from the safety.
They bring both safeties, and that's one of Ernie Stautner's trends. I mean, that's what he has done in the past and always will do, is to apply pressure, is bring more people than you can block. They bring they bring the linebackers, they bring Randy White. There you see too tall, 26. They bring him, they bring Bates and Downs, the 2 safeties, and young quarterback was lucky to get the ball away. Protect your field goal here. Don't force anything. Don't throw the interception because you're in field goal range.
Now 3 of the 4 wide receivers to the top. And Miller stumbles and falls out of the backfield. And now Miller wants his team back in a hurry. Clock continues to run. Stop for a moment now at 41 seconds, and now we'll start again. This time Miller has 2 wide receivers to each side. And the quick pass to the near side, and out of bounds is Floyd Dixon.
Well, they've got to kick the field goal now. They get the ball out of bounds wisely to stop the clock so they can set up for the field goal.
27 seconds to play, and Greg Davis takes the field. We'll remind you, coming up at halftime, Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, Dick Butkus scores and highlights, and also look back to some of the great Ram teams of the past, built around defense, the fearsome foursome. Now the offensive line is the talk of LA, and Dick Butkus has a look at the new stars, the fearsome fivesome, coming up at halftime. 43-yard attempt. Davis' kick is good. And after falling behind early, the Atlanta Falcons have come back, and with 22 seconds to play, now lead it 17-14.
Well, you like the way the young team is hung in. You know, they go down 14-0, and they come back with a long touchdown pass. They come back with a long drive, and you see the enthusiasm that this young team has right there. You see their kicker. The whole team feels that way. This team is extremely young, but they're extremely confident after their win last week over San Francisco, and they think they can win.
Greg Davis booted 47 and 41 yarders against San Francisco last week. 3 out of 4, and now 4 out of 5. We call these guys the Peach Fuzz Gang.
The Peach Fuzz Gang. 30 players, 26 years. That is an extremely young team on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. You would think that Marion Campbell is on the right track with this team if he can keep his skilled players like Chris Miller, his outside receivers, and the offensive line healthy on defense. Got to get Marcus Cotton back to go with the other young linebackers, and this team could be someone to be reckoned with.
We talked with Marion when he stepped right off the plane yesterday afternoon. He was smiling when he got off the plane, wasn't he?
Well, those weeks, the weeks when you win, go by a little faster and a little bit more fun.
Greg Davis, he at the 43-yard field goal, will kick it. And for Dallas, it is Darryl Clack at the 7. And Flack is hit hard as he crosses the 20. Charging down to make the initial hit is running back James Primus, number 49, the rookie out of UCLA. So PELLUER has 18 seconds to work with here in the first half, and I don't expect that he will do much with it.
I wouldn't think so. The momentum has changed drastically in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and the crowd is now against the team, and before they were with them. I would just run the ball here, run the clock out, and go in and regroup.
And as you say, it's not going to get him a whole lot of popularity with this crowd as soon as they see the type of play that he comes up with. Although they are out of the shotgun, here's Herschel. And Herschel out over the 30. And that should do it for the first half. And the Cowboys can now regroup and look forward to receiving the second half kickoff.
Go in and regroup. Think about the things you did well. They had a long, long drive in the first quarter, and they've got the crowd against them now, as you can hear. They've got to go in and regroup. Think about the good things. Get rid of the bad things. Same on the other side of the ball with the Atlanta Falcons.
Tom Landry walks back to think about it and talk about it. And the Falcons will try to look to continue the success formula here in the first half. We've come to the end of the first half. Stick around. Much more to come from Irving, Texas. Atlanta 17 and Dallas 14.
And that's what they have to do, is maintain control of the ball.
One thing that Chris Miller's pass here to Stacey Bailey did was to get the Falcons back into the game in a hurry. This one came with about 3.5 to play in the first quarter. Had to do wonders for the morale on the sideline.
Absolutely. That's what the young, strong-arm quarterback brings, is the fact that he can get them back in. Conversely, on the other side of the ball, PELLUER has not thrown the ball very well at all, and he has to get their passing game going.
22 yards passing all told in the first half for Steve PELLUER. We'll watch the Cowboy passing game in the second half. And CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.